Okay, we are right now making the plunge. We're getting it, and probably the most difficult issue we have in life is when talking about being honest with other people, we usually know and life is more complicated. So a person is allowed to do certain things if he needs them. Now, what's called that you need something? So I would like to share with you an incident that happened here in Shul on Shabbos. The Gabbai announced that they had the papers for the Zmanim on the Bima, and whoever wants to know the Zmanim for Tishrei can take a paper. So I didn't say anything. I called him over afterwards, and I said, I don't think you should announce that. So he said, why not? I said, what's it do for you on Shabbos? That's hachana for...
I mentioned it to someone and they said, this or for
taking those papers.
I think so. I think so.
Well, everyone looked at me like,
I think so.
Taking papers or announcing them?
So now, I will tell you, there are people, a person, and this, I'm starting off with this issue, but I say I think so, I didn't say, that wasn't that, that was I think so. In other words, why are you taking them now?
no use for them on Shabbos.
What?
No use for them.
So why are you taking them now?
Because it's convenient, you don't forget.
Okay, so if that's the case, so then the chayre it's awesome. Now, there are some people that take it now because they want to see, they're curious. You know, let's see what's going on. You know, they have to get what?
When Yom Tov is, we'll come shkei.
Yeah, you know, no, there are people who do that. They look at it. So if that's what you're doing, then it's mutter.
But why? So it's still for after Shabbos.
No. I'm right now. Let me share with you a halacha in Hilchos achana. I have to stay up a whole month of Shabbos, and therefore I take a nap on Shabbos afternoon. Is that achana? We all have a mind, and it's 100% mutter anyways. You know why? No. Much simpler. All you guys are in overdrive. Because I enjoy taking a nap. Now, what's the difference why I'm doing it? L'maisa, I'm enjoying it. So, what? There's the here and now. My example of this, when I give shiur in Hilchos achana, this is my marshal. A babysitter, and Shabbos it's the summer, and Shabbos is over late, and the kids are like starting to get riled up. There's like this, there's like this rise, and they get to a certain point of a frenzy, and then you'll have to wait till they beat each other up, till they go to sleep. There's a certain place, I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. So maybe say, okay, let's get into pajamas now. Now they're not going to sleep now, so why are you putting them in pajamas? Right. So, but l'maisa, if it wouldn't be that you had to put them in pajamas tonight, you wouldn't be doing it. You wouldn't be putting them in pajamas. You don't do this when they get like this at 3 in the afternoon. So why are you doing it? What's the emes?
make it easier for you to stay in bed.
So you do it achana. But you know why it's mutter? Because you're benefiting now. It's true that the lion's share of what you're doing is achana. But there's a benefit. That's good enough.
If there's no benefit, then it's a problem.
Then it's a problem. Right.
Taking the sheets stop.
So if you're taking the sheet stam, so then I think that there's a problem. If you're taking the sheet because you're going to look at it now, you want to check it out, you want to look it over, I want to criticize what Lev wrote. That's my mitzvah. So therefore, I'm going to look at it as soon as I can to nab him, right? So that's my Onik Shabbos. That's 100% permissible. Okay, that's right. At least as far as Hachon is concerned, we're not discussing any other right. So that's mutter. So I will not say if someone took one, I won't say anything because ani lo yodea. But when it was announced, So then the Gabbai asked me, but what about the people that they have it, it makes them feel good? So what I didn't tell him, and I'm going to tell you, I have pills for those kind of people. That's what I was going to say. Now, in the course of the conversation, I said to him, the people of shul, what percentage of people in shul have email? 90, over 90%?
Way over that. Somewhere they have email. Yeah.
Okay, so anybody that's desperate for this money, it's not like if you're not going to get it now, you're not going to get it. This is not everybody has printers. It's not. It's not.
Put it out there, sure.
What? No, I don't know. So I just said that I wouldn't have announced it. What about the person who makes him feel good? No, I don't think that's called enough. That's not legitimate enough as far as I'm concerned.
More later.
I don't know what those words mean. It's not going to be more later.
Anymore. You wait till Monday, Shabbos, Sunday.
That is a shaila. The Marshag says that if a person is not going to be able to get it later, then it's not called a chana. It's like a hefsed kind of an idea. That's a chiddush, and you're a liar. You could get it later. You're just lazy.
No.
What?
Come back to the draw on Sunday and it's finished.
Because you want it. Because you want this exact. You know what I mean? This is.
No, this shul, they give it out on Shabbos and it's not left.
So I said a person can create it. This is not something which is. We're not talking about 40 years ago. 40 years ago, I would entertain your question. Today, lazy. That's what you are.
They see people taking and they feel like they're missing out.
What?
It will be a long story. It's not just pull it up and print it.
I don't know. You'll have to. Okay. I don't know. So
People by nature feel like they're missing it.
that's
See people taking,
you have to.
run out, I'm gonna miss out.
The Chaparine syndrome.
Right.
Okay, that's all. These are emotional issues. They are not practical issues.
I missed it. Not had the shul.
And you still got here anyways. Okay.
Here I got.
Okay. Anyways, so I just left it. I didn't address it anymore. But this is the question about being intellectually honest. As you already see over here, when it's not even Negeya, where everybody has their bias before we even start. I'm not. It's very difficult for me to answer the question in general when it's a very specific kind of a question.
Just
Now,
realize, could you make believe that you need it for this Shabbos?
so we're gonna learn about this. I'm not saying this because I'm bored right now. Let's see the halacha over here. I would like to start off with a question. The Gemara says something which is utterly ridiculous, and yet it's true. It's utterly ridiculous, and it's true. Adam writes a bekav shaloi yesem etisha kav shel chavera. This is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life. What? What?
I would say the other way.
No, I'm not even talking about the other way around. It's like your wheat, like, Bishlami say my poodle's better than your poodle. Okay, we could discuss that, But do you really think that your wheat is better than my wheat, and my wheat's better than your wheat?
Actually, 9 to 1.
9 to 1. This is ridiculous, right? But it's also true. It's not. It's ridiculous on an intellectual level. Oh, so there's reasons, there's value, which is not marketable value. Okay, so there are many times things which and the Torah recognizes those values. You don't say the guy has to go to a psychiatrist. That's normal. A normal person to write to even if. And my marshal of this is that if you ask a lady who makes challahs better, you or your neighbor, she'll say the neighbor. You say which ones do you want? She'll say mine. That's the way it goes. That's fine. She's 100% normal. And if she say the other way around, there's something wrong with her. But it doesn't mean it makes sense. That's the way it is. So now, a person under certain circumstances wants new, wants fresh. This is a normal human function. Desire, and the Torah recognizes it. How real does it have to be it gets to be a little bit problematic, because we're not talking about something objective, we're talking about something subjective. So once you start talking about things that are subjective, it's very hard. I can't police what you feel. It's hard for me to do that. I mean, I could police it, but it's hard to enforce it, right? So now, let's see. Mutter litchon kemach litzorech hamoed. Person needs kemach, flour, thank you. For the moed, you're allowed to grind it. Afilu kiva malachtu moed, even though you knew that you're going to do it then, you're allowed to do it just like you're allowed to plan to make your meals on Yom Tov. You're allowed to plan to be toichen, to grind your flour on moed, because it's tzorchei of achila of moed and it's mutter. Velokotz eitzim yamechuber, and to cut down pieces of wood. V'lahato shechar ben shel tmar ben shel sa'orin l'tzorech hamoed. You can make your beer if it's l'tzorech hamoed. What does the word tzorech hamoed mean? We're about to learn. V'shelo l'tzorech hamoed osur. Why? Because you're not allowed to do malacha. But when the malacha is for Yom Tov, then you're allowed to do it. Mihu ein tzorech letzamtzem ela oiseh b'arachova. You're allowed to make in a generous amount. Now, what's called a generous amount? If, let's say, you have 5 people for supper, how many portions of food do you make? 6 or 7. What? 8. Yeah. But what about 15? Okay. Okay, so Rabbi, how many? Okay, I don't know. I don't know. You have to be intellectually honest. There has to be that you see a real possibility of usage. Now, how real does that possibility be? It doesn't have to be that bidiktuk. It's good, it could happen. It's good enough, but that's called you doing it for Yom Tov. Even though that the major benefit will probably be for during the week. If you end up having leftovers, that's fine. And now here's the part that I've been trying to discuss. You can't fool, trick, and say, maybe my friend is coming. So I said, when's the last time he came? Before the last Shemitah. Right? You have to have some kind of a real kavan over here. If you have already flour or beer already made, don't make more and say that I'm going to use the new and save the old. You're not allowed to do that. Why? Because what are you really doing? You're making more. This is called yarib. What about if fresh tastes better? Why? Why isn't that yarib? But let's say X, Y, Z. But still, Lamaisa, you have a benefit. Going back to that concept, you have a benefit in this new stuff, so that it's permissible. In other words, if I have chicken in my freezer, and I eat frozen chicken. You know how I know I eat frozen chicken? Because I have chicken in my freezer, right? So it's muchach that I eat frozen chicken.
You prefer fresh chicken?
What?
You prefer fresh
But I prefer fresh chicken. So that's enough to be matter to me to do it, and that's not called that I'm being marim. Why? Even though I am being marim.
Because you're going to eat it.
No, because you eat it's not enough.
Prefer it.
Because you prefer it, correct. In other words, it has to be.
I mean, you're not going to cook the frozen and eat both. You're going to eat
No, I'm saying, but I have a legitimate reason to prefer this over that. Doesn't have to be a great reason. Just like the case we gave before about hachona, right? It has to be that you're having a gain. That's enough. That's called that kind of aroma is permissible. So this is what the halacha over here says.
Even though I know that really I just want the extra chicken.
No, you want the fresh chicken.
I gain the fresh
It doesn't
chicken.
matter. Correct. It doesn't
Even
matter.
though
Correct. Because Lamaisa you have, it's not just to save grace. Okay? You actually are benefiting. ואם יש לו קמח אבל לא יערב לעשות אחר ויום מזה אני רואה את זה אבל אם יש לו לחם מותר לטחון לפס why? the pas חם עודף fresh is better והוא עדים בשחר עם חודש עודף ולא ארומה. Now, by the way, is that true? Is shechar better? No, what? You don't speak that language, huh? No, this is beyond my scope. I have no idea. Okay.
Why is it fine here? I feel like keep him he knew beforehand he's going to do it on, but he could have done it before. Like to grind flour.
Okay.
Why is that different to other things we said you can't really?
So the answer is that oichel nefesh is mutter from the Torah to do. That's called a Yom Tov activity. This is true even for Yom Tov. Forget about Chol Hamoed. Because the pasuk says you're allowed to cook, to eat.
But if you were able to do something beforehand, and it would have been
so that's when I don't. It depends. That's true in Hilchos Yom Tov, but that's not. It depends on what things you're doing. But it's even in Yom Tov, it's not always 100%. Okay, maybe you see that halacha. It's a fascinating halacha. Depends at which point in the malacha that you're talking about. But on Chol Hamoed, which is more kal, it's permissible to be done. Okay, but it's a very good question. But that's the bottom line on this subject. Okay, so now.
Going with Yom Tov. It's a Yom Tov activity, but that means you're going with the spirit.
I'm not sure if I would say it exactly like that. There are certain things that are like that. That's what I agree exists. But here the Torah says clearly, you're allowed to do it. The Torah. The Torah says, I don't need to lump this when the Torah says it, right?
The Rabbanas were made restrictions.
Right. Over here, it's clearly it says that it's permissible. Okay. But they came and they assert certain things according to the Raj and others because they didn't want you. They were metzamtzem the deraisa, but the deraisa is really its all, at least according to many Rishonim. So it's exactly the opposite of what you're saying. All right. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Chol Hamoed she'eino kemach b'beisai v'afilu yachol liknois or lishol mechaveroi. Now, the Mishnah Berurah did not live in the kibbutz. Okay? Asking from your neighbors to borrow something is called b'diavad. The Moshe Feinstein writes that if a person can do something with a kli of heter, and he has a kli of isser to do it with, he's mechuyev to take the kli of heter. He says, but you're not mechuyev to ask your neighbor for a kli of heter. Okay? So that's not really called an option to ask your neighbor. Not that it's not an option as in viable. It's uncomfortable. Okay, that I didn't say, but that's called. It's not because it's not your shita. It's not called that's mezuman for me to do it. It's a process. I have to go into a process. I have to go borrow. How long does it take for a lady to borrow something from her neighbor? At least half a day, right? It takes a long time. It's a job. It's a happening. All right. You can go and buy. Now there's a question about if you could buy, if you have money, you don't have money, etc. So all those things, if you
buying is not grinding is a bigger process than buying.
No, that's not the point. It says if I could buy, it's not called that I have it. That's called out of reach. That's
then it matters malacha, even though buying is not a malacha.
That's because it's not an option. Just like borrowing is not an option. Why isn't borrowing an option? I'll just say it the way I understand it. You have to leave your comfort zone.
Okay.
Okay? Not because I can't buy it, there's no ATM and there's no store open. There's stores open and there are ATMs and there's even room service. But buying is leaving your comfort zone. So that's called you don't have it. What?
More than grinding? Grinding is...
Grinding is work. It has nothing to do with the comfort zone.
It's a malacha,
Yeah, but you're
Nothing to do with it. Two different subjects. One is that called that it's available? The answer is no, because you have to leave your comfort zone. Once it's not available, so you're allowed to grind. It's not hutra d'chuya. That's not the subject. The question is, do you have other flour? So having to buy it or borrow it, that's called you don't have. So therefore, you're allowed to grind.
It could be 100 years ago. Both of those things was borrowing from a neighbor and buying as much. Today, if you have good neighbors and you go to the shop, it's very easy, much quicker and easier than grinding. 100 years ago, maybe it wasn't. Today, I wouldn't think twice.
It's called chazaras or shayla. It's two different subjects.
No, I understand the reason, but I'm saying maybe 100 years ago that reason applied. Today, I'm not sure.
Buying is called
we need to borrow from our neighbor something. We'll go 2 seconds and borrow.
I don't know, a bag of flour.
It's such a comfort zone problem.
It's called you don't have it. If you made a bracha and you want to eat that, you'd have to make a new bracha, right? No, that's not okay.
That's das.
Don't say today. Don't say, well, today. What about Amazon can deliver it during your meal?
No, but that's because my das didn't include it. Here, when I have it,
It's because it's not yours. It's not because your das isn't included. Because it's not yours. If it's something that you bank on and you get from the person all the time, it's not yours. It's out of.
It's yours. It's just easier. You only have to do a malacha to obtain to get it ready,
Right.
as opposed to getting something that's not yours.
Right. No, there is actually a whole discussion about this later on. Later on, if I'm not mistaken, in
you see the price I did to get this money for sure.
where is that? Another time, maybe.
Mishnah Berurah put it on here.
Afilu matzo vashuk leknois em matzich enoisoi to go and buy it. These are called things which are not. They're out of your zone. I lost my place. Just 1 second. Okay. No. I used to be here. Okay. ואפילו רצון אלוהי מלאכי לצקן בערב יונטת ומדייתא להניח דבר זה לעשות בכל המועד דכמה וחמאס מחמירן אבל צורכי אוכל לא החמירו. Okay, that's your question, that this is called 100% mutter. Okay. לא קוצא עצם להסיק תנירוי או בשל סעירן דאיקה תרחה מרובה אבל לא ירם לטחון אם בעלה תחנו אין הרוצה לטחון שרמות יכול לטחון אפילו הרבה ולא הווה כמכוון להיסר, שהרי תכן המוסר בשל איסר מועד שהוא צורך. Now, I'd like to share with you a beautiful chiddush from Chacham ben Sina B'Shol. I'm not sure if I agree with this chiddush, but it's a beautiful chiddush, echshehu. I have a fruit bin, and in the fruit bin I have apples, oranges, pears, bananas. What am I missing? Plums, peaches, and you come to my house, so I'd like to serve you some fruit. So I do boirer and make a fruit platter of 6 or 8 pieces of fruit, and I set them down in front of you. So I set them down in front of you. Say, Rabbi Zachariash, do I look like a hippopotamus? How many pieces of fruit do you think that my guest is going to eat?
One.
Perhaps, right?
How big is it?
Right, but he's not eating all of those. So is it permissible for me to go and choose, buy, I don't know what select the variety, if I know I'm not going to be using all of them.
Yeah, because you don't know which one is going to be.
What about I could take out 2 apples and 2 pears?
If you have a range, and it's not so tough for someone.
So he says, that's the way you serve fruit. There's nothing extra over there. You're serving all of them.
Give you a selection.
And therefore,
That's the way you serve fruit.
someone asked me if you could do this. I don't think I would allow him to do it. I don't think I would allow him to do it. I think it's a sideraisa
To do what?
to prepare that fruit platter.
What is he doing? What is he doing with my side?
Slicing it
He's
up.
picking out the fruit and then he's slicing it up?
No, I'm slicing it up.
He's just taking out...
That's butter. I have a fruit bin that has a mixture of
But you're taking
different
it
kinds of fruit, and I'm selecting the ones that I want and putting them in a bowl, in a fruit bowl.
He's not... They're all the
I don't
same.
know why it's called.
Why is
No, I'm taking orange, a banana, a pear, and a cluster of grapes.
So you're allowed to take what you
And
want.
I left
Use.
other stuff there.
There's lots of better stuff and you want your family to have than you guessed.
Why?
That's not some of the Borah. So you took what you want for immediate use.
I'm not using it all.
That question is if it's a
Potentially.
You're not gonna use it.
I'm not gonna use
The
it.
guest
You're not
prefers
using
A, B,
any
or
of
C,
it.
or D, or
The
F.
guest is going to use it.
He's not.
You don't know what he prefers.
He's not a hippopotamus.
No, he's not going to use all of
No.
it. But he could potentially use each one of those.
He does with chef.
So therefore, you can burn in Gehenna graciously. That doesn't matter anything.
That's the tzura of achras zorch, and that's what you do.
Who says? Where'd you get that from?
Why is it Gehenna when I'm doing achras zorch and being a gracious host?
The way to Gehenna is paved with good hosts. What kind of answer is that? What kind of answer is that? In order for a person to do bayrav to mutter, it has to be that you're planning on eating it. You are not planning on eating all the food.
But you don't know what the guest is planning. You don't, unless you ask
A
him.
hippopotamus, you know that he's not going to eat 3 apples and 6
No,
pears.
one of each, not 3 apples.
So, but let's say 2 apples,
different
2 apples and 2 pears I could take out.
For sure. Yeah, but we did say
even
you
though-
don't have to, you don't have to prepare the exact amount. You can prepare a bit more.
So I know, but the reason why I'm preparing more is because I want it to look impressive, not because he needs a
The
selection.
more is not a problem. You were saying you were saying
More is a problem.
But you were saying the problem was that I'm leaving the plums and the nectarines.
No.
I have 3 apples. I take
No,
out 2.
no.
I take out 2.
Stop.
That's
I have 10 different kinds of fruit in my bin, and I take out 2 apples, 2 pears, and 2 oranges.
Right.
And I know that
Too much
person is not going to eat more than
I
1.
have 5 apples and nothing else. I
No,
take
that's
out
not
2
butter.
apples.
That's not butter.
Right.
It's all
5
one
apples
min.
and 5 oranges, and I take out 2 apples. You're saying
That
not
could be
4.
butter. That's butter. Now it could be it's mutter if it's samach lachila, you know.
What
But
five apples is
that's butter. Now it could be that it's be mutter if you're going to eat it right away.
So this is the case. You're making
No, but I know he's not going to eat.
But
There's
why 5
no.
apples? Yes, he's not going to
So
eat
the
5
plug is
apples.
here is
What?
Why 5 apples is fine? He's going to
I didn't say 5 apples are fine.
Is 1 min is okay? He's going to eat 1 apple. Yeah?
No, because there was 1 min. That's not butter.
Oh, if there's only 1 min in the bin.
Yeah,
I thought you meant-
that's not butter. That's just.
So if you're serving someone cake, so you have to give him exactly 2 pieces. You can't give him
One
6
second.
pieces.
1 second. That's all 1 min.
Right. But you're still serving more than you know. how to
That's
make.
not butter.
It looks nice.
That's fine. That's not butter. You have to have 2 different kinds of things. You have to have different
In other words,
things.
looking stingy doesn't override a malacha.
Correct.
Click is here. Is this called the use? Meaning the magish
So,
a plate.
so
is that
Chacham Ben
use?
Zion Abba Shol seems to say that that's called a use. I have absolutely no understanding of what he's talking about. I will.
Ashkenazim don't know how to serve fruit.
I was about to say,
Okay.
maybe
Okay. Well, I'm considering converting. I'm considering converting. I'll just tell you that there was a fellow named Rabbi Falk who was a very big halachic specialist, and he wrote in his book. I can't remember which way he wrote and which way I heard from him, but I knew him. I had a relationship with him from Gateshead, and I said to him, I think that you wrote something which is an Isser Deraisa in your book, which that got him very shook up. He said, I said that if you know your company's coming early, and you want to set the table, that the table should be set for when they come, even though you know that you're not eating right away. He said it's permissible. So I said to him, that's nothing. That's usser. If before the time that you're eating, there's no heter. He said, the table has to be set. I said, you have to be using it. So he says, that's usser. I mean, it's mutter. So I said, and what about if you're having shal shuris, and you want to make a salad and put it out on the table beforehand so the people come, they could all water and Google your salad. So that's usser. I said, what's the difference? So he looked at me pathetically, and as a good Englishman, I don't know if there's such a thing as a good Englishman, but he said, your guests are coming, that's called the meal is starting. I said, with what is it starting?
The table being set.
With what is it starting?
It's uncomfortable if the table's not set.
Disrespected them, you brought them into
We're eating at 12 o'clock, they come at 11:30, so I could set the table for you ready at 11:30? Mazeh?
I know the car.
I said, yeah.
By the time 12 o'clock comes out.
No, I'm doing it at 11 o'clock, so you're ready at 11:30, even though we know we're not eating until 12 o'clock. Why should we go there? He says, your guests are coming. I said, is that part of the Suda? What is that? So we got into an eye-scratching fight over here on this issue. I think that it's usher.
What's the issue?
Butter.
He's finishing.
It's too early.
He's finishing.
It's not for me to
He's
use.
setting the table.
What?
How?
I have forks, spoons, and knives
Right.
mixed together, and I am separating them, putting them in the proper places. That's called butter.
You have it mixed together?
What?
When you wash up, they mix together.
You have to know how you draw.
No, we have them in a drawer with separate containers.
Okay,
No,
you're a
you wash
wonderful
them outside,
guy.
enough for Shabbos lunch.
Could be. Could be. I don't believe he says it also. I don't believe he says it. I know this is a very specific case.
Right, I think he says it.
Okay, we'll have to check it out. Anyways, I don't see why it should be mutter. No, it's not. No, it's that's not called.
Because you're finishing a half hour before the guests show up.
No, you know that they show up early. My shver, when he goes to daven, he's there 15 minutes beforehand. Right? Why? Because you have to be early, not because he's afraid he's going to be late. So you have to be early. Right? That's not a heter. That's not called the meal is starting. He's early. After Mincha today, I told him, I said, you know what your rabbi said? Rabbi Breuer, the rabbi of Breuer's, he said early is also not on time. On time is on time. We fight about this. Been doing this for 35 years. Not much has changed.
So if we eat Shabbos, for example, at 12 o'clock, and I come home at 11:30, and the table isn't set, I think to myself, why isn't it set? But it's correct. It should be set all closer to when we eat it.
Okay,
so my wife will be very happy.
One second. I just want to know something. Do you have a time that you eat?
Yes.
12 o'clock? You eat 12 o'clock?
12:15.
12:15. So why should the table be set?
It's 11:30.
Yeah.
It's early.
Why should it? Why?
Why should? Because it's nice to come home and see a set table, not an empty table. It just feels like what's going on here.
Welcoming.
My wife.
So that's not called usage.
Right. So I'm fine. So that solves the problem already.
It's usage.
What?
That's not called it's usage.
Correct.
So
The problem is sometimes if the table isn't.
He tells me he's on
Rashal's Isser Deraisa.
just tell them to set it early, just do it the right way so it's not boring.
No, but if you washed up cutlery Friday night,
So you take the whole thing, you put the knife here, and the flexing comes out, you put here,
No,
and
but
the
that's
next thing
still
comes out, you put
boring.
here. Why
That's
not?
a machlekes. You're allowed to do that.
Why
But
is that
anyways,
boring?
that's still boring.
Why is that boring?
Taking what you want is boring.
You're not there, you're taking the first thing that comes to your hand.
okay, we're not going to learn Bayer right now.
Okay.
We're learning Hilchos Yom Tov. Rabbi Chol
The
Hamoed.
half to the Suda is not considered a problem.
What's a half hour? It's in a half hour. That's called somewhat. Okay. Anyways, we just moved the time of your meal. That's all. Anyways, so how did we get to here? I was explaining something. I lost.
How about the fruit?
Oh, yeah, but the fruit was to explain what's called. Oh, so now the Mishnah Berurah says when the guy, so the Chaben Sion says that you're allowed to select the fruit because that's the way I have to serve him. One apple is together with 6 others, so that's not called I'm not using. That's called part of the eating of the one apple. Oh, sheken, oh shalo. he's an Adam Gadol, and I'm willing to let him do it. Anyways, but when the guy says, I'm only going to turn on my mill if you do 10 kilo. I said, I only need 1 kilo. So he says, I'm not going to use the mill. So now I have to do 10 kilo. Am I allowed to do 10 kilo? So the Mishnah Berurah says you're allowed to. Why?
It's the case of Rhoda Pasti. You have to fill it up. So
No!
why is that?
There the pas needs it. The pas is better.
It's like I want kazayas of meat. I have to check the whole cow.
Can you shech the half a cow?
We don't have to prepare the whole cow.
No. So that's called you need to do it. Over here, he is the one that's impediment. There's no reason I could just do a kilo.
He doesn't
let me.
How can you do just a kilo?
So that means
If he
you can't
wouldn't
do
be
it.
such a stickler and only let people do 10 kilos at a time.
So go buy your own.
But that's called I don't have it. That's called I can't.
It's not your control.
The one is subjective, the one is objective, right?
One is beyond.
I cannot shecht a half a cow. So far as I know, you can what?
Even a quarter of a cow.
Right, even a quarter. Well, even a quarter of a cow, even 99% of a cow. It's either shechted or not shechted, right? And when you put more pas into the oven, every single piece tastes better. There's no advantage of being teichen 10 kilo over 1 kilo. Just to have a guy who has his.
What's the size? It's minimum order 10 kilos.
Minimum orders. So what is what?
Yes. 1 second.
To get full.
Finish the sentence.
He says minimum order 10 kilos. I only want to do one. Says too bad.
So therefore,
Nothing to do with you.
Yeah, I do 10 kilos. You did nothing.
it's
You're not
permissible.
gonna do
Why?
Because you can't get one of them.
Because I'm not doing it in order to have more for later.
To get one.
I'm doing it in order to get what I need for now. But it's not like the case of shchita, where it's inherent that I need to do it all to get this.
Well,
Here,
the stickler doesn't become inherent now. I'm
it
stuck with the
becomes
stickler.
circumstantially. It's not inherent.
Not
It's not inherent. You have a problem with your dictionary. You come from Brooklyn, right?
It's not basic.
Right. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. The Mishnah Berurah says. V'mbal ha'tachano eino rotza litchon shirmuit yachol litchon afilo harbe. Why? Lo havi k'machavan lohiser. That's not called that you're doing it in order to leave over. Sharei teichel ha'moiser b'shil oisoi muat shehu tzorech. The reason why I'm doing the rest is in order to get what I need. Now, therefore, I'm allowed to do it. Then I'm allowed to use the stuff for after Yom Tov too. There was no iser done. Vim harim mutter b'diavad. Kivan sha'oichel al kolponim ksas mi'akem b'chol min ha'shecher. K'moshe pasuk ha'mechaber le'il b'chai gavna. That even though you're not allowed to be marim, but if a person made more, it doesn't become aser. Mio la'meforshim shapir sham dafka hazit. I will harim aser af b'diavad after do adin hacha. That there's a possibility that there should be aser over here also. And it shouldn't say Aviyam Rizani, right? So V'aval pi sha'oichel mizeh shetachan mikol makam haramihi shareina tzarchlo. At the end of the day, you have to be honest with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we can to help you out with that issue. Okay. Sheichor v'chein chitim v'sorim chai gavnam yesh l'kemach mehem she'eno yafuk al kach muter litchon acherim sheyofim yesem mehem. In other words, any time that you have a benefit by doing what you want to do on Yom Tov, that Chol Hamoed, you're allowed to do it.
How is it tafshila, not a harama?
That's the cook from Shabbos.
I'm not.
You're making more than what you need now.
First, let's.
Saying, 'cause I could do some, and I say.
I will choose, since we're not learning Erev Tafshil now. I will choose the Rishonim and the Tzad. That's the simplest. The reason why it's mutter is because Tzarchei Shabbos nasim b'Yom Tov, and you just need to make a heker that you started beforehand, and therefore it's not a question of harama b'chol. How's that? That's one answer to the question, according to 50% of Kol Yisrael. That's the simplest answer. But anyways, that's what they're the ones that they set it up that way. All right. Anyways, it's a good question. Right? So Ein limchos v'misharetz l'svach asor azu mikol makom yesh kasu degam apoiskim elo eina mekilim ela bezeh deina roba nechres she'eina kol yoidim she'ein zeh shecher yoshen avol in betoichen chitin o oisa shecher umarim lasas yotzer alacha Yom Tov shakol roin shu toichen harbe kederch shu toichen b'chol, then it would be forbidden. Again, even in a case where you have a slightly better thing, but if it's apparent to all that you're a liar, then there are those who say you're not allowed to do it. Shari. Pas haroda. If you have better bread already baked and you want to bake a coarser bread fresh, you're allowed to do it. Yom Tov also b'chol hamoed shari u'bevad shetzorach al kaponim gam ken k'tzas moed she'oisel ha'avocha v'moisel yoser. But notice here, even when you're actually doing something which is ipcha mistaver to what you should be wanting, but at the end of the day, if you're using it, then it will be permissible to be done. Okay. Let's skip the halachas. Let's start the next halacha. All right. We'll stop over here.
It says this a long time ago.
What?
The perfect course of bread.
Sorry?
It said this a long time ago. It's the perfect course of bread.
Nowadays, the coarse bread is the expensive one.
I'm willing to say that our coarse bread is probably whiter than their white bread.
Chofetz apparently had black colors.
Pumpernickel.